So the battle for the mini camera, compact cameras has begun, and also OM system wants to have a saying. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from One Lens Only, and today, guys, it's official. Compact cameras are making a comeback. Now, I do not understand why, but apparently all the youngsters that a few years ago converted their production entirely to smartphones, the iPhones, all of them, also Androids, they were putting more and more megapixel into their cameras, and we witnessed collaborations from Xiaomi with Leica and Hasselblad with one platform, and many other valuable products were delivered. But nowadays, apparently, they understood that you cannot compete with a bigger sensor. Now, the real limitation of all the smartphones for how smart they were in simulating the background blur to detach the subject from the background, so on and so forth, but it's just computational. And so I know there are a few people, many people out there that have a big esteem for computational photography, but let's face it, a bigger sensor gives more pleasing results, more natural results, and this is what spiked officially the sales for compact cameras, such as Canon V1 that has been released and announced, and there are many other producers out there that want to have a saying, because let's face it, when you are young and you buy a compact camera, that's your entry point to the photo and video production, and so they want to have fidelization of the newcomers, of the new consumers, but also of the old foxes like my good self, when we don't want to go around with a full-frame camera or to take care of our gear, because let's face it, if you have many glasses with you and a valuable full-frame or medium format camera, then you have to babysit for it. When you want to go out there quick and dirt just with a camera with yourself, then we all opt for compact cameras. Now, my personal opinion about the best in class was the Sony RX100. I had the Mark IV. I took it with me to New Zealand. I took it with me to Iceland, and I had quite pleasing results, but that was just a 1-inch sensor. While, let's face it, also among the plethora of compact cameras that you can choose and pick from nowadays, there are a few ones that are either micro four thirds or aps-c format, and that can give you more pleasing results for almost the same price as a 1-inch sensor. So let's face it, the Fuji XM5 costs as much or a bit less than the Sony RX100 Mark VII. And so, assuming that you have a big mix of qualities to choose from, whether you want the stable or the AF tracking or the face detect for your photos, you can ideally set a budget and then pick the best out of there. Now, Canon officially stated that compact cameras are back, and they are working to develop more and more models. So the V1 has been announced and the V3 is coming later this year. But also OM system, formerly Olympus, which we all love, because I think most of us had at least one Olympus in their life, they are back. So they just released the OM3, that is a super valuable alternative to other cameras such as the Fuji XS20, or I mean, we are in the same ballpark price wise and specs wise, and so they just released this OM3, but it was not really anything new. It was just an old camera with a new body. So the specs, there was not much research and development behind it, and then all the people, there's plenty of fans out there that were waiting for the new Pen F to be released, were a bit disappointed because they were waiting for the new Pen F to be released, and they got an OM3 instead. And so the thing has been brought to attention to OM system, and they officially made a statement at the CP Plus. Previously this month there was this big fair that is a CP Plus with all the new cameras, glasses, accessories, all the companies want to be there to display what the offering is going to be in 2025, and they stated officially that the OM3 was the OM3 because it was targeting a certain cluster of people, but they are working to develop the new pen. Now, they didn't say if it was the pen F they're targeting or if it is another new similar model. Oh, better, give me a sec because I had double checked already and I cannot remember the name exactly, but I remember I saw the news here and there. Okay, so now they are talking about something similar to the Olympus Pen EPL7, just as a point of reference. So this is coming fairly soon. Now, the big question that I have, because thinking about OM system and their offerings, the real question that I have is, are they going to develop anything new, or are they going to open that famous drawer with all the Olympus technology stuffed in there and assemble in a different way? Because this is the impression I'm having. They are not developing new sensors, new technology, but they are just reassembling or changing the offering based on what they currently have. While 2025, we know that all the competitors are having a knife between the teeth and they are trying to tackle and to target those fellows, the new generation, the new users that will be their clients for the next 20, 30, 40 years, so on and so forth. So, OM system, all my best, wishing that you will develop a brand new product that is on par to nowadays technology, because if we have a look at all the specs from the Canon V1, from the Sony RX100, and for the other Micro Four Thirds, and then from the Leica Deluxe 8, and Panasonic is developing a new LX100 Mark III, these are all valuable options, and so you will have to differentiate from them. You will have to offer something more or something best, and Olympus has always been famous for their stave. It was the best stave in the business till the very moment that now Panasonic released the latest camera. So I'm referring to the S5 Mark II X and the S1R Mark II. That stave is great. It's on par with Olympus despite using a bigger sensor. So Olympus, please, I will let life surprise myself, and I will be waiting for this new pen, whatever name it will have, to see if the price is matching the other offerings, if the offering, if the qualities, if the characteristics within that camera will be a very good alternative to the known brands out there. So Micro Four Thirds is not that, guys, and I see Micro Four Thirds fighting a lot to survive against aps-c, because aps-c cameras nowadays are also popular. They are the cheap options available. They deliver good image quality, despite, of course, the only thing you cannot compare is the shallow depth of field that we're used to for full frame. Full frame almost became the standards, not just for professional use, but also for prosumers. And so I'm very curious to see whether Micro Four Thirds or aps-c cameras will win this fight for the base pricing offerings and for the image quality and the results that they can provide for photos and for videos, because nowadays also, let's face it, most of us became hybrid shooters. So please let me know down here in the comments, what are you waiting for? Are you going for the OM3? Are you waiting for the new F? Are you waiting for the new OM pen, whatever, or are you going for the new Canon V1, V3, or are you waiting for the new Lumix, or whatever? It is your choice for a compact camera. Now, in my humble opinion, given the limitations that I have from my big hands, I will not go for any compact camera. I gave it a try last year when I moved to Europe, and I was looking for a LX100 Mark II that was still so expensive because it's still a valuable product, and so it's keeping the price, and I ended up with a Lumix LX10 or LX15 in Europe, and I had to get rid of it like 3 months later because it was too tiny for me. I couldn't press the buttons and I couldn't really handle it the way I wanted to. So right now I'm using a Sony A7C Mark II, which is for me a compact camera. So with that, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the reviews to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.